A greeting to all. My name is Francis Ayala Balbuena Tamayo. I'm a professional in international relations and political studies. And now I'm going to talk about the article by Antonio Fernandois and Carlos Medel called Geopolitical Tensions, OPEC News, and the Oil Price, a Granger Causality Analysis. The authors state that crude oil and its processed liquids have been the most traded products worldwide for more than half a century, and their great importance is due to the massive investment they generate and the development of technologies that use them as the primary fuel, specifically in the transportation sector. This massive and global market allows the world's largest economies to have a prolonged dependence on the behavior of this market, where the geographic, political, and cultural characteristics of the countries directly influence its development. It's important to remember that in the 1920s, the US government ordered the regulation of oil and gas exploration, production, and transportation by imposing production quotas on different regions. They also made concessions between governments, including the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Mexico, Venezuela, and the Arab countries, to maintain control over prices and production until the early 1970s. In 1973, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) was established to regulate and control oil production and trade worldwide. It's composed of 14 states, mainly located in the Middle East and Africa. However, not all countries considered major producers are currently members of OPEC, as on average, these non-OPEC countries have experienced fewer political tensions and threats in recent years. OPEC aims to coordinate and unify the petroleum policies of its member countries, ensuring a fair return on capital for those investing in the oil industry. The article primarily focuses on analyzing the particular effect of unexpected geopolitical tensions and news related to the main oil producers. It also aims to unravel the impact of OPEC-related news on oil prices within a broader context of threats, tensions, political instability, and news about oil supply, ultimately questioning to what extent geopolitical tensions, supply disruptions, and unexpected news in OPEC and other major oil producing countries affect oil prices. These geopolitical tensions are defined as the risk posed by tensions between states that affect the peaceful course of relations, which may include more concrete threats such as unrest, wars, or terrorist acts. However, the authors include as a single measure of tensions the news related to expansions in oil supply, incorporating them with the opposite sign corresponding to geopolitical risks. This includes new announcements about discoveries and sites exploration, as well as public and explicit efforts to improve diplomatic relations between highly tensioned countries. This measure is the result of adding or subtracting when necessary then dummy variables associated with news relevant to the oil market as suggested by sources like Bloomberg or the Wall Street Journal. One of these dummy variables refers exclusively to OPEC news, which consists of positive and negative integers. The authors examine three basic hypotheses supported by testing reverse Granger causality to determine total independence or a feedback relationships between variables. The first hypothesis is whether geopolitical tensions and general news, OPEC and non-OPEC Granger cause current oil price. The second hypothesis is whether the same measure Granger causes oil price forecasts. And the third is whether the same occurs with the dispersion of forecasts, consensus. If the measure of geopolitical tensions and news accurately captures the timing and intensity of tensions, it is expected that this variable will grander cause all oil-related series. Fernandez and Medel conclude that they found evidence suggesting that general geopolitical tensions and news affect the current level of oil price, their forecasts, and the dispersion consensus of those forecasts. When distinguishing between OPEC and non-OPEC news, they found that the former affects oil price forecasts and their consensus, while at the same time the current oil price determines oil-related news in OPEC countries. Additionally, non-OPEC news affects the current and future level of oil price, and neither the forecast nor the dispersion of those forecasts is affected by the level. These results imply that geopolitical tensions and news influence oil price, and OPEC news should be read in conjunction with other geopolitical tensions as drivers of oil price, rather than as isolated news generators. This weakened the hypothesis of OPEC as a price setter in the global oil market, as it is the current oil price that affects OPEC-related news. These findings are significant, suggesting that to follow the dynamics of oil price, it's necessary to consider a broader context of news and geopolitical tensions beyond OPEC contexts, based on signals and externalities that are not always grounded in economic logic.